Alright, so I'm coming out here 2 days later. I'm just kind of going to document what we're seeing here. You can still see the ESN on the ground here, which is fine. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. I'm going to look and see if this yellowing is going away. And I wanted to see if there was a burn on the corn, which I do not see any burn on the corn. So we're just going to walk down here. There's a heavy deer presence here, and I mean ridiculous how they're just nipping and trimming these leaves off this corn. I can still see some purpling, but we are coming out of the yellow striping, obviously. Still in that seedling phase. What do we have, V4 now? Let's see. Still some purple there. I'm going to get down on my knees when I get down out here. This is a dry knoll. You can see how oh, Jesus. Did you even see anything? You can see how this field is, we call it the humpback field. Yeah, you know, just because. Yeah, there is some burned leaves. We are supposed to get rain tonight, yeah, which is fine. Excellent, you know. So she goes. I'm going to get on my knees right about here because there's still some purple in here. Alright, so these are the lower leaves. This is what we're dealing with right now. The distinct stripes that you saw earlier are gone. This fertilizer was put on 2 nights ago. Not even days ago, but 2 nights ago. I'm going to get this poly-coated urea. It is definitely still pretty stiff, which is fine. I see no K-mag. Oh, wait, here's some. Here's the K-mag. And the ammonium sulfate is long since passed. But you can see how this here is just leaving a little bit of a... Let me see, I just pulled it out of there. Ooh, that's dissolved. I don't know what the hell that is. I know the ammonium sulfate's pretty well gone. We got enough moisture at night. We're supposed to get rain tonight. We don't really have a lack of moisture here. They had about 1 inch of rain here the other day. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on this more than anything. I do believe this is a herbicide damage from last year. I really do. Last year's herbicide, not this year's herbicide. Could be a combination of the two, but I don't know. This stuff, you can see it has greened up, you know, pretty good since. This is what you get from fertilizer when it goes down that, hits it real close. Well, you can see this is where I went with the spreader, right up this. So this is the center of the spread path. You would expect it to burn it a little bit. Actually, I thought it would be worse than what it is, burn-wise, but you can also see that there's some moisture on the leaves. It did not rain here last night, but this is just pure condensation or dew. We did have some slugs on this, so the ammonium sulfate will really squelch the slug problem that we had, or we're having. I have a cold, so bear with me here. My son, you know, the last days of school, he brings everything home. The population here is nowhere. It is terrible. I gotta tell you, this is probably one of the worst stands. That corn planter, I don't know. It sticks it in the ground. There's just a whole host of issues that I'm dealing with. I do not like the way this is stood. The deer have come along and bit that off. I'm pretty sure the deer have a lot to do with the damage that's here. With the spaces, you know, they come along and they just pull it right out of the ground. There were geese that had landed in this particular spot. You know, it's funny because when you dig the seed, they're spaced where they're supposed to be spaced, and then you get a spot like that, boom, boom. But if there's geese, they'll come and pull that sucker right out. And, you know, like I said in yesterday's video, or the day before's, or the day before that's video, that, you know, this ground just simply will not support 300 bushel corn. It's just not going to do it. I honestly think that the old 7000 corn planter did a better job than what this vacuum planter has done. Just because I don't think it is the planter. I really don't. I think it's actually wildlife, because the damage that's here from the wildlife is just immense. They just come along, they'll bite it off, oh my God, that's deer, right? Is that deer? What is that? I don't know what the hell that is. It's got that whipping. Yeah, something bit that. Yeah, there it is there too. So the deer came along, they bit the top out of that one, they bit the top out of that one. Holy shit. Yeah, we do have some burn from the fertilizer. I can see that here and there. These are what's left of the peas, right? So they're dead, which is fine. That's what they're supposed to do. And yeah, if we get rain, which I'm not really concerned with the moisture, there's plenty of moisture. But I will say this ground is hard. Even though we went over it with the vertical tillage, did we go over this with the VT? Did not go over this with the VT. This was not gone over with the VT. I planted it with the drill, planted the peas in here, and that softened it up. But man alive, I should have went over it with the vertical tillage machine. I really should have, because this ground is hard. Now this was ground that was planted soybeans, wheat, soybeans, wheat, soybeans, wheat, soybeans, wheat for decades. And he might have had corn on it. He did have some hay in here, but you know, hay does not build organic matter. I know the organic levels are like 1.5%, which doesn't allow for softer soil, but I don't know. I think it's going to pull out. We get rain, and that'll soften that soil up enough that these roots will have a better chance of getting through it. I mean, I've dug them up, and there's a lot of roots down there. Not on this one. Well, I got them in the truck from the other farm, which was also the former farmer's ground. And it is just hard. You almost need to go, you know, when you're trying to do regen ag and you're on ground that's been beaned to death. So I call it beaned to death. When you bean ground to death, you know, whether you're no-till or not, the fact of the matter is, that no-till drill, you know, you're cutting in 1.5 inches, inch and a half, and you're rolling over it. Soybeans don't go very deep, and they don't leave anything. They just take everything. So and wheat's the same way. Now, I don't know, this ground is hard. So anyway, I can't blame him. I mean, I knew what I was getting into when I rented it. This is county ground, but I'm going to show you the roots. See what we got here. So this I dug up, and it was so compacted where I planted this, you can actually see that this plant, that seed did not get deep enough. It's right there. So maybe 1.5 inches. This one was at the proper depth. You see the seed? Where's that seed? Right there. See that seed right there? I don't know if you can see it or not. I broke off roots here. You can see I broke that one off, and I broke that one off. But this has a much nicer root system going down. It's got nice fibrous roots. I broke the end of that one off as well. But that one was planted at the proper depth. And it's dry and compact. I mean, that ground is hard. So, is what it is. That purpling at the base, I think, is varietal. That's deer damage right there on the end. Deer come along, they snip it off, and just deer holes. Everything's a deer hole. Last year I didn't have near the problems we're having this year. Not near the problems, but anyway, yeah, it's if we get this rain this go round, which is gonna be tonight into tomorrow, and it's pretty much 100% chance we get this rain, and it'll it'll get that K-mag dissolved and activated into the soil, and it'll help those roots, the potash, or potassium that's in there, and sulfur and whatever else. I think it's going to bring it around. I added about 35 units. I did add 35 units of nitrogen to this ground. So, I'm where I want to be with my nitrogen application. I'm not where I want to be with the growth stage of this corn. Corn I put in that I was spreading fertilizer on yesterday was planted earlier, and it's a little taller than this, but I got to go spray for weeds in it. For some reason, my weed control, and it was the first corn that I sprayed, but my weed control just isn't where it should be. I don't understand why. Whether it didn't get the rain to activate it into the soil and stop those what do you call it? Think stupid thing. It didn't activate the prowl and the bicep to stop the shatter cane from coming up, and thistle, that shatter cane and thistle, a lot of thistle, Canada thistle. That field has really come around. So, yeah, all right. Well, I'm not really worried about this farm here. This corn hasn't really been in the ground that long. It's not even been what has it been? 20 days? Not even 20 days. What is it? Not even 20 days. This corn hasn't even been in the ground 20 days. And I'll have to go look on my records. I think I planted this on the 10th or the 11th or 12th, something like that. So it's the 26th right now. So if it's the 26th and we planted it on the 12th, it's been in the ground for 14 days or so. 2 weeks. Right? 2 weeks? Yeah, something like that. This field here is going to be kind of cool. This, and you can, I thought I flipped you around. This here, you can see there's a spot out there. This was planted 3 days later than the field that I was just in. But you can see out there that there's like this sway belly. And I know this was VT'd. I think she VT'd this, right? I believe maybe she didn't. I think this was all just done with the... I don't think she VT'd this. No. Did she? I'm going to have to go back and look. Did she VT this? I think she did. Yeah, she did. We VT'd this. But that ground is still so damn hard. And this field here is planted the same time as that. All treated the same. And this field here, it's coming around, but it don't look as good as I'd like it to. But we're gonna get rain, and it'll just loosen that soil up a little bit, allow them roots to go for what it needs to go for, and I'm thinking we'll be okay. Clean though, the fields are clean. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so boy, I wish corn was $10 a bushel. And I'm going to actually talk about that. So if you're corn producers all across the country or the world, you know that there is the basis price. So right now corn is 10 cents below basis, below market price. So you got your market price, and then you have your basis price, which they should just call it base price. But we are 10 cents below basis. I was out in Lancaster County yesterday. Not yesterday, Saturday. Today is Wednesday. Wow, been that long ago already? All right, so Saturday I was out in Lancaster County, Ephrata to be exact, and the corn out there looked the worst I've ever seen it out there. If they don't get rain tonight, you can just say that corn is going to die. I don't know how it's not going to die. It's yellowing brown. The beans on the knolls are already yellowing and dying. So my thoughts are, and have been, I do have corn contracted. I contracted 10,000 bushels at $4.70. I felt pretty confident with that price. I'm okay with that. But what I'm seeing out there is going to cause them to need corn because it's a huge feed mill, and they really looked bad. Lebanon, Ephrata, out there just looked terrible. They missed the rain that we got here the other day. So I have only had one farm that curled a little bit 3 days ago in that 100 degree heat. It was 99 degrees. Curled a little bit for about an hour, and that was at the home farm, which kind of shocked me, but it was at the home farm. And you know, what are you gonna do? You can't do anything about it, right? So, but anyway, with that being said, this corn up here never curled. It's just because it's too young yet. It's not pulling, the root systems aren't pulling enough moisture out of the ground, and hopefully we can get into July. They're saying that we're supposed to have normal rainfall and temperatures, slightly above normal rainfall, slightly above normal temperatures for July in our area. They were saying about 4.5 inches for the month, which will be fine. 4.5 inches of rain. A dry June, which is causing those roots to go down for water, which will be good. The residue trash that I have is good. I'm coming up on this other field that I was not at all happy with the other day. At all. It just looked horrific. I put the fertilizer on this, like I said, 2 days ago. It obviously hasn't gone into the soil where it needs to be, but yeah, let's see. It just still looks yellow. Just, it's weird. It's weird. So I don't know what the hell. Is it the variety? More susceptible to atrazine or something? I have no idea, but I have no idea. I'm going to find out though, because I'm going to get out and you all are going to see it, because that's what I'm going to do. I did talk to the people at Fertilizer plant yesterday about this, and they're like, well, you limed it, right? I was like, yeah, I limed it. She says, well, sometimes that lime can, here's what deer will do. Deer did that, grabbed that thing and ripped it right out by the roots. Bastards. So, I think it's doing better. I really do. I think it is doing better. You see a little burn on the leaves. You can see that the deer have done their dirty deeds to it. So you get these areas, like this area here, you know, it's good, right? Looks good. Looks, the striping is dissipating. It's actually filling in the chlorophyll. I see some grasses coming up, which is annoying. I had dandelions, which they're ineffective right now. They're not going to make a damn bit of difference. You get up in here, and here's an area. Like, here's this area where it's yellow. Like, this is burned from the fertilizer, so we're not really going to... But you see this striping that's in there. Why is it doing that? And you go over there just a couple of feet, and it's not doing that. And it's like this all the way across the field. It's like there's spots. It's confusing the hell out of me. It's not moisture. I mean, look. This was VT'd. And there's moisture there. It's fine. Perfectly fine. The fertilizer that I put on, you know, here's the ESN, right? The sulfate and the K-mag. What is this? Here's K-mag right here. The K-mag is turning to that, you know, so the K-mag is dissolving from the moisture that's in the atmosphere. The ammonium sulfate's long gone. That dissolved overnight. But yeah, so you walk up here a little ways, and then I honestly, and I want some feedback on this. What do you guys think? You think it's herbicide? This is deer. Deer came along and bit the top of that off. That causes it to whip like that. It's shit. Ruins it. But here, here it looks better. I gotta figure that fucking corn planter out. I really think that corn planter's got some issues. I might just go back to the old 7000. It always seemed to have a better stand than this thing does. Take that 24 row and take the units off and sell it off as parts. I don't know. It all depends. You cover a lot of ground with it, but I could change out all the plates, rebuild each row unit, and probably end up in good shape, but who knows? So, yeah, you look back on it this way and you can see there's a spot there, there's a spot there, and it looks pretty even out across, but oh man, we'll see. We'll get rain. It's coming. I know it's coming. And for all you anti-chemtrail people, there's a chemtrail. They're hazing us over. You know, we used to have nice, bright, clear blue skies. Those are very rare. Maybe once every 2 weeks we'll get a nice, bright, clear sky. Everything else has been sprayed on us to actually, yeah, they spray on us and it actually covers the sky to a haze. And we're not getting that nice, bright sunshine to help our crops grow. I just don't understand why in the hell they got to do that. Refracting light, you know, I've heard every conspiracy theory there is, from absorbing or refracting the radiation back into outer space, and or you know, 5K, and using that to do whatever the hell they want to do, push satellites back up into orbit, crazy stuff. But who the hell am I? I'm just some dumb farmer that can't seem to figure out what's wrong with his corn. And the crazy thing is, and I've posted the results from the tissue samples. They're not bad. They're not bad, but I did hear that bleaching of the leaves is indicative of atrazine. I have not overdosed it with atrazine. A, it's illegal, and B, it's expensive, and C, 2 quarts of bicep to the acre is what we use. So, see, now the planter's working good there, which leaves me to believe that the deer came along and pulled that the fuck out. Deer or geese, I don't know. Could be the variety too, who the fuck knows. But anyway, you can see here, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but green and then a stripe. Stripe, green, stripe, green, stripe. Weird. Anyway, whatever. I'll sign off now because I'm going to take a piss, and I don't want you all to hear or see that. Craziness. It's crazy. Growing corn is enough to drive you nuts sometimes. Alright, so it's going to rain. Now, we haven't had rain here in a while. The last rain we had was 0.2 of an inch, and that was, I think, 2 weeks ago. 0.2, 2 weeks ago. Something like that, which of course it doesn't amount to anything. 0.2 of an inch does not amount to anything, but you can hear it bumbling around above us. I can feel the rain a little bit. I will go ahead and spin this bad boy around. The rain is, well, it's here now because I'm getting wet just a little bit. So Frenchtown would be like, let me see if I can zoom in here. If I could zoom in a little bit. You see that house right there on the top side of that Bronco there? You go over to the other side, that's Frenchtown. If you look to the right, you can normally see the Milford Bridge. And Milford, the town of Milford, sits up there. You cannot see Milford. Frenchtown's getting hit pretty hard. And I can now see the house starting to disappear. So the rain is coming pretty good. Somewhere's about right here on the other side of that building, my wife is there. And what she's doing is baling hay. I called her about 2 minutes ago and said, get that thing up here, because you've only got like 30 seconds before it starts coming down pretty hard. And her reaction to me was, I'm almost done, I'll get it done. Well, it's getting wet right now, which is fine. That's okay, because we need the rain. So far, where that rain is up there in Milford, we had an inch of rain the other day, and I don't know if I posted it on here or not, or whether I'm going to. I don't know if I got film of it or not. But they got an inch of rain. That was on Saturday. It is now Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday. So Saturday, they got an inch of rain there. 0.8 of an inch over at the farm that I'm trying to purchase. And way up at Point Mountain in Crystal Springs section, way the hell up there, 35 miles away, they got 0.2 of an inch of rain. That helped with the corn. It really did. But in no way, shape, or form did it get it out of the woods. I got Timothy. He's putting fertilizer over in Flemington. Grant is over here. He's putting fertilizer in the tender. And I think I hear Teresa coming up the hill. So I'm going to go ahead and move the sprayer out of the way, I think. Or I'm going to just put that thing in out there. Now that's her coming, so let me flip this around. Here she comes. So she got it done. Here she comes. I'm gonna just pull it right there. Look at that, Crazy Asian 8530. I'm gonna back that out. So what I'm gonna do is back this out, and then I'm going to back that baler in here so it doesn't get drenched.